guys, and welcome to the crochet life of Sophie. I'm Sophie. In today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you guys how to crochet a chunky tote bag. You're going to need some yarn. This is fabric slash t-shirt yarn that I'll be using 2 strands at the same time. Another thing that I'll be using will be a 15mm crochet hook, as well as some scissors. Okay, so what I do when the yarn comes out like this is that I stretch it out. I'm gonna start off by making a slip knot and make a chain of 17. So now that I've made a chain of 17, I'm going to insert a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. 1, 2. And I'm going to insert a single crochet across until the end. And now I'm making a single crochet into the last chain, and after that I'm gonna chain 1 and then make 6 more rows of single crochet, so that in total we can have 7 single crochet rows. Chain 1, turn your work. After turning your work, you now make a single crochet in each and every stitch across. And now I'm making a single crochet in the last stitch of the second row, and then after that I can be able to chain 1 and then turn my work. Now that I've made 2 rows of single crochets, I'm gonna make 5 more rows of single crochet, and then in total I'm gonna have 7 rows of single crochets. I did 7 rows of single crochets, so I'm gonna insert the last single crochet here. So moving on, now that I've inserted 1 single crochet, I'm gonna insert 1 more single crochet at the corners. I'm only gonna make an increase at the corners here, here, and this corner as well. Now I have 2 single crochets at the corner, and crocheting on the side, I'm just gonna literally put my single crochet anywhere. I'm gonna start off here, now that I'm at the corner, I'm gonna make 2 single crochets. I have my 2 single crochets at the corner, and with this yarn tail I'm gonna crochet it as I go. You can decide to weave it in with your needle. I'm gonna crochet it as I go, and I'm gonna work a single crochet in each and every stitch across. Make another 2 single crochet increase at the corner, and then crochet on the edge, and then also make 1 more increase here. So what I do is a single crochet here, now I've inserted a single crochet in the last stitch. I'm going to insert another one, and that's our increase. And I'm gonna make 2 single crochets here. So I'm gonna use the bobby pin as a stitch marker to mark the first stitch before the second single crochet in the very same stitch. So what I'm going to do now is to make a single crochet back loop in each and every stitch across for a total of 1 round. So this time, since we're single crocheting in the back loop only, we are not gonna make any increases. We're just gonna single crochet around in each and every stitch in the back loop, and then I'll meet you guys when I get here. So now I'm at where the stitch marker is. Oh, it left a stain. And now moving on, I'm gonna single crochet in both loops. You can insert the stitch marker again if you want to remember where you started. I'm gonna single crochet in both loops. So now I'm gonna single crochet across, and I'm gonna be working in the round, and I'm gonna make a minimum of 10 rows of single crochets just by working in the round. Now I have 12 rows of single crochets across. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. I have 12 rows of single crochet. So what I'm going to do now is to flatten the bag as much as possible and determine the sides of the bag by then placing a stitch marker on each side. There I was holding the side of the bag where I'm gonna be placing my stitch marker. The side, I'm just trying to determine the side of the bag. Just make sure that you first start off by locating the side of the bag. So counting from the stitch marker, we're gonna make 7 single crochets across. Seven. The aim is to try to attach the handles on the middle side of the bag, leaving a bit of gap here. Now I've made 7 crochets from the stitch marker. You can make more than that, you can make less than that. This is really totally up to you. So now I'm going to make a chain of 30. $29, $30. Now I've made 30 chains. So I'm gonna attach it to, remember where we put our stitch marker? So I'm gonna count from the first single crochet stitch from the stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is where I'm gonna be attaching my yarn with a single crochet. This is the first single crochet. I'm gonna make 6 more single crochets so that we can have a total of 7 single crochets till the stitch marker. Now I have 7 single crochets, including where we attached our yarn, and I also do have 7 single crochets on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the stitch marker. So I've got a gap of 8 single crochets and a chain of 30. Now we are approaching the stitch marker. I'm gonna remove it and make 1 single crochet. I'm gonna put it back. And now we're gonna make 7 more single crochets before we make a chain of 30. Gonna lift my bag and try to see if similar to each other. So making the handles is very optional. It depends whether if you want a very wide gap or a very tiny gap. I wanted like more of like a medium gap, and hence I have 7 single crochets this side and also 7 single crochets this side and a gap of 8 single crochets. So this really depends on the amount of stitches that you have. Just make sure that you first start off by locating the middle side, the side of the bag, and place it with 2 stitch markers, and then you have the same amount of chains before you make a handle. Now that I'm on the 7th single crochet stitch, I am gonna make a chain of 30 once again. Now I've made a chain of 30. I am going to attach it and the 7th chain from the stitch marker. So for me to be certain about where to attach my yarn is I'm gonna count from the stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a bit uneven. I could either attach it here or here, but I'm gonna go with the 7th single crochet stitch and make a very tight single crochet stitch. Now we're gonna single crochet to the stitch marker. Now I'm at where the stitch marker is. I'm gonna remove it, make a single crochet, and place it back. And now I'm just gonna single crochet across. Now I'm at where the chain is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slip stitch into the back loop. You can slip stitch on this side or the back loop. Now I'm slip stitching at the back bumps, and when I get here I'm gonna single crochet, and then I'm gonna single crochet, slip stitch into the back bumps, and then single crochet. And when I get to the stitch marker, I'm gonna insert a slip stitch and chain one and secure the yarn. Make a single crochet. I'm at where the stitch marker is. I'm gonna quickly remove it. And I'm gonna make a slip stitch. I'm gonna fasten off, leaving enough tail to weave in. Now I'm gonna need my tapestry needle to weave in my ends. There are many ways to go about it. I use a metal hook because it's quite sturdy and strong. I just cannot find mine now, so I'm gonna use what I have. So I'm just gonna weave it in wherever.